when does the producer gets equilibrium, okay, when using marginal cost curves and marginal revenue curve, right? We saw the situation when producer gets equilibrium, or the point at which the profits are maximum, by using the level of output, right, as well as the total revenue and total cost curves. But how do we find out the same thing if you're using the marginal cost and marginal revenue curves? There are three things which one needs to note over here. The equilibrium is achieved when the marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue. What this means is that at a point where the increase in the cost per unit of output, right, the increase in the marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue. So if I increase 1 unit of output, the cost that increases is equal to the revenue that I derive from the sale of that additional commodity. Now tell me what is going to happen in this case. Suppose you are making 10 units, okay, and you derive a revenue of 100 from that, right? Your revenue is 100 and your cost is 70, which means your profits are 30, right? If I produce an additional unit of output, the increase in the cost is, let's say for example, actually this was the revenue, not the cost. So revenue, cost and profit. So let's say my revenue increases to 108. At the same time, my cost, the marginal cost increase is from 70 to 78. So the increase in the cost, which is the marginal cost here, is 8, right? The increase in the revenue, the marginal revenue, is 8. So if both these are equal, obviously my profit is also going to remain 30 or the same amount, right? Which means the point which we were starting from here is the point of equilibrium, or where the point where you earn the maximum profit. The second condition is that the slope of marginal cost is greater than the slope of marginal revenue after the output level where marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. Now what does this mean? Let's look at it in the same example. Suppose if I look here at an output of 11, the marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue, right? What this implies is that the slope of marginal cost is greater than the slope of marginal revenue. Now what this means is, if I produce 12 units, right, let's say my increase in revenue is 7 rupees, which means the total revenue now becomes 108 plus 7, 115. But if my cost remains 8, right, my total cost will become 86 and my profits would reduce to 29. What the slope of marginal cost being greater than slope of marginal revenue means is that the cost which you have, the marginal cost that you have, which is 8 rupees, is more than the marginal revenue, resulting in this scope, okay, where after the level where marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. So my marginal cost was equal to marginal revenue at 11. Any additional unit that I produce, right, is going to have an increased cost vis-a-vis the revenue, and therefore my profits are going to decline, right? And the third condition is that in the short run, the profit is greater than the average variable cost at equilibrium output, right? But in the long run, the profit is greater than or equal to the average variable cost at equilibrium output, right?